Open Your Eyes is brought to you by the Belize Bank. Our country, your bank.
Good morning and welcome to Open Your Eyes.
Start your morning right.
I'm April Martinez.
And I'm Paul Lopez.
And good morning to you, Belize. Here in Belize City and outside, to all of you that are waking up and getting ready for work. Good morning.
It's a Tuesday morning, April.
It is a bright and early Tuesday morning. It was raining so hard this morning when I woke up.
In Demopan.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So I don't know that we got that rain in Belize City. I know we got a lot of it yesterday, though.
We got it yesterday on and off, and then this morning at about 4, I think, it started pouring, like thunder and pour. And I said, well, that's it.
Yeah, I mean, that's yesterday was just that sudden rush of rain that you didn't expect to see coming. It's like one moment it was the sun was shining, and then the next moment, bam, the rain's just stopped. But I don't mind. As long as I'm not caught out in the rain like I was yesterday.
You were caught in the rain yesterday?
Because I had to go and lock my vehicle, raise the windows, because I wasn't sure whether or not it would rain.
Yeah.
And so I got caught in the rain. But it's all good.
It's all good.
It's all good as long as we could ensure that we keep our property safe and our personal belongings from getting wet and all that stuff.
Yeah. No? But you know what sparks my whole interest when it comes to the weather, especially, I know we ask the Met Service what it's going to be like and so forth, but we've been talking so much about climate change on and off for the past couple of months, and it didn't dawn on me until today that we're already in the middle of July, and it hasn't really rained. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but like if you are a farmer, you would know that by now you're expecting some showers almost every day. It's good for your harvest. And the last time it was like this was probably in 2019, and then 2020 again when it was like really, really dry. I know that's not something to talk about. That's the biggest thing in the world, but also it's climate change is a big deal.
April, we did see some of those rains earlier, or at least in mid-June, when we saw the flooding in Orange Walk. But you're right. I mean, there's nothing like a lot of rain to kind of solidify the point that we are still in the hurricane season, and you could dismiss it so easily when you don't see as much rain coming. You tend to forget. It tends to be an afterthought that we are in fact in the hurricane season. But even in this time, from June to November, as the song sings it, it is advisable to remain prepared, to stay prepared at all times. And so we can't I don't think we should allow the decrease in rain showers to kind of cause us to let our guards down in this time.
And you know how we go. Whenever things start to simmer down, we think that everything is fine and dandy.
Cool.
Yeah, but you know, apart from the weather, and we will get into the weather later on in the show, you know, we often come here, we talk about what's buzzing on the news, what to look forward to for the rest of the week. And Paula and I, right before we came on camera, we were talking about what should we discuss? Because it's the same old politics, crime, you know, that's what's happening. But you did say budgets, and you did talk about our instability of the economy. They kind of recapped a little bit about what the assembly meeting was about. And I don't know about you, but the realities of affordability in this economic is more real for some than others. And while you and I are able to have a job, can afford to come, maybe, you know, have a car and afford to drive it, some people can't afford rent. So I'm not really sure where we stand when it comes to leveling the playing field of cost of living.
We've seen inflation go up throughout the months. I think the SIB reported last month, and I stand to be corrected, that we saw somewhere between 5.5% or upwards thereabout in terms of inflation. Inflation simply means the cost of goods are increasing, and so we don't necessarily use that word inflation on a day-to-day basis. But when we go to the stores and we see the ramen that was once 50 cents is now $1, we say, man, things get expensive or the price increase. What we're really saying is that this is inflation. This is what inflation looks like. And so because of inflation, the dollar is not a dollar anymore. The dollar is not worth the same as it once did. And yesterday in the Senate, the opposition senators, that was perhaps a large part of their argument when it came to the $75 million loan, U.S. loan from Taiwan. It was the fact, for them, it was the fact that we're borrowing this loan while you have people in Southside, Belize City in particular, and those across the country who are struggling to, because when we talk about cost of living and inflation, we're not only talking about goods, we're also talking about services. We're talking about things like housing, for example, increasing. We're talking about things like transport as well increasing. We've seen the bus prices increase. It's not the same. I caught the bus the other day, and
how was that?
I caught an express. The express from Belize City to Belmopan used to be, I think, around $6. The man charged me $8. I said, look here, give me back my $2. No. I couldn't tell him like that, but I mean, for me, I felt like it's almost $10, and
your taxi driver might be $10.
I feel like a point will come when, because it's just $2 less than $10. What I could do with $2 besides buy a Coke as I step off of it? But I feel like soon they will demand that $2 from me, and I will cry. And I will cry because $10 express from Belize City to Belmopan used to be $5 back in the days. And I know back in the far days.
I'll never forget when I used to travel with my mom from Belmopan to Belize City, like way early 2000s, and it used to be $4.
So that's inflation. Then you have to ask the question, what has caused this to get there?
Honestly, the reality is that the world is going through that inflation. It's not just Belize, but then that tells you that the value of our dollar is decreasing. I mean, I don't recall when it was. I think it was last week that the euro, for the first time ever, matched the US dollar.
Correct.
Has never happened before.
Yeah.
That is to tell you where we are.
Yeah. So that's definitely something. When you think inflation, you think fuel prices. That's one of the main drivers behind inflation, because fuel moves the industries.
I'll tell you something though, when it came to that 75 million that the government was discussing, I did get a little bit upset, because I said to myself, we just talked about borrowing, we just talked about shoveling ourselves out of debt, and here we are again.
I refer to Senator Kohi's explanation on debt and on borrowing. That kind of gave me a better understanding of what's happening here. It can easily be interpreted correct, and I don't think you're completely wrong for at least having a sense that more borrowing is equaling to more debt, and as a result, Belize get poorer and poorer, and more people go into the struggle, and more people suffer. But at the same time, because the large issue here for the opposition and for many others is that at least 13 loan motions have been brought to the National Assembly since the PUP took office. That's 13. I think it's one of the newspapers that estimated all those loan motions combined to be worth some $540 million. So you think, matters, $500 million in an economy where our debt was just around $4 billion.
Yeah.
And I think the blue bond kind of reduced
It
that.
a little bit,
But
yeah.
at the same time, now we take $540 million and we add that to our debt. So then that becomes a concern when you look at it like that. However, what Minister Koyi explained, Senator Koyi, what he sought to explain is that while those 13 loan motions have been brought to the National Assembly, the disbursements is something different. And the monies that are being requested or that they're requesting for the National Assembly to approve, that they're not all coming in one disbursement. So we're not getting $540 million pumped into the economy at once.
I get that.
Yeah.
I get that.
So it's over time.
It is. I just need to know how you are investing said monies, because in order for you to borrow, you have to be able to afford to pay back, right? So if you are investing them in a space where eventually they will gain enough revenue that you can pay back plus interest, right? Then I will be able to sleep a little bit better. But we'll figure that out afterwards, right? We have to get moving into the show.
Yeah.
We started late. I'm sorry. That's
yes,
the
you're right,
boss's fault.
You're right.
But
because there's much more to talk about.
There's
the
more
economy.
to talk about, but we'll see more about it in the news
Yeah.
as we continue on for the week. And obviously, these are conversations to have at home. This is not just a conversation for Paul and I to sit on a couch. This is a conversation for you to continue at home.
Indeed.
But let's motivate you a little bit this morning.
Let's do it.
And we will take our eye opener from dailyom.com, and it goes like this. Every decision is a learning experience, whatever the outcome. Our perception of the traits and characteristics that make us who we are is often tightly intertwined with how we live our life. We define ourselves in terms of the roles we adopt, our actions and inactions, our triumphs and what we think are failures. As a result, it is easy to identify so strongly with a decision that has resulted in unexpected negative consequences that we actually become that wrong decision. The disappointment and shame we feel when we make what we perceive as a mistake grows until it becomes a dominant part of our identities. We rationalize our poor decisions by labeling ourselves incompetent decision makers. However, your true identity cannot be defined by your choices. Your essence, what makes you a unique entity, exists independently of your decision-making process. A perceived mistake becomes a valuable learning experience and is, in essence, a gift to learn and grow from. You are not a bad person, and you are not your decisions. You are simply human. I say this all the time. We are all just human beings trying to human on a daily basis. And what I mean by that is we're just learning ourselves. We're just learning our way through life every single day. Yes, you might be good at your job, but you still have a learning point, a learning curve every single day. You're just trying your best.
I think we should brand that or logo that those two words, simply human.
Yeah.
Because I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. It was only last night that I was having a similar conversation with somebody about judging ourselves or judging others in terms of labeling somebody a bad person. By whose standards? According to who? You know what they say who makes you the judge? Who died and made you king of or queen of? When we call ourselves bad people, when I call myself a bad person, or when I feel like I'm a bad person, I have to ask myself, where is that coming from? Whose standards am I using, imposing somebody else's standard on myself, knowing that that same person standards that I'm using is also human, and they probably struggle with the same thing. And they probably use somebody else's standards and the cycle.
It's something that I know society definitely does to itself.
Yeah.
I don't know. We could sit here all day and try to figure out the root of that problem. But when it comes to decision making and learning certain things, we all feel that when you are in a position or a job that you right away get it. You right away are supposed to know. When you get a job and they say these are your qualifications and you make a mistake, you are put on a probation because you're supposed to know. And that's not always true. Your decisions you think will have a good outcome. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. And the important thing is that you go back to the drawing board and you try again. Yeah. That doesn't make you a less of a better person than the other person beside you, and that doesn't make you incompetent. That doesn't make you inferior, right? And one of my favorite quotes, I think it's by Eleanor Roosevelt, is that no one can make you feel inferior without your consent. My point. So if you are going to allow other people to cast that judgment on you, then you wither inside, right? Yeah. You wither. So don't. Yeah. Just try to human every single day. That's all we can do. Yes, we're all figuring out life. I love this. Yeah. I love this.
That's a good one for today.
Thank you. I love this one. Yes. But we have to get moving into our show for this morning, and that is to give you a little bit of weather update for today. Weather. We were talking about the weather earlier and just I'm hoping that the rain lights up a little bit. I don't like thunder, lightning storms. I don't know about you, but it make my internet kind of go wonky, and I need my internet.
Dry weather internet. All right, so do we have Catherine on the line with us?
I think we're waiting for her.
This morning we're waiting for Catherine.
Yeah. Hopefully we get her on the line.
I mean,
we'll see.
In the meantime, April, we could talk a bit about the general situation. Is she on the line?
Is she on the line? Let's see. Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
How are you, Catherine?
I am okay. I'm not going to complain.
I need to be like she when I grow up. Yes. Just okay, not complain. Hi.
Make a song old, man. Make a song old.
No.
The age.
That's what I say to people I admire.
All right,
Catherine. So tell us the general situation for today.
Oh, okay. As you know, yesterday evening we had a tropical wave that affected the country. Sorry, 1 minute. Yes, but we had a tropical wave that affected the country last night, and still some part that tropical wave that was moving far away. As it moved far away from the country, we have some moisture that is still lingering, and that is affecting mostly the southern part of the country. And if you look at the satellite picture right now, you can see that in the Stan Creek area, they are experiencing thunderstorm activity as I speak right now. And we expect that as the day progresses, those thunderstorms will dissipate out and move away. And we expect to go into generally fair and warm weather with the shower activity, if any, will be isolated for the rest of the day. Oh. So generally, we have an easterly airflow prevailing. The forecast is calling for sunny skies with a few cloudy spells. And we expect high temperature to reach as far as 88 degrees Fahrenheit along the coast, the 94 inland, and 82 over the mountains. Tonight, the skies will be partly cloudy and temperatures will drop down to 81 along the coast, 74 inland, and 68 in the higher elevation. As I said, we expect a few showers and isolated thunderstorms to affect mainly the southern coastal areas this morning, and elsewhere, shower activity will be isolated. Okay. Winds east at 10 to 20 knots. Sea state, choppy to moderate. The outlook for Wednesday and Wednesday night is for fair weather to prevail, and shower activity will be isolated. So Sargassum forecast, there continue to be a medium to high chance that most sargassum mats will continue to affect our beaches during the coming days. And in the tropical weather outlook, pure good news, no tropical cyclone formation is expected in the Atlantic Basin over the next 40 hours. So guys, that is what I have for you all.
That's always good news. Thank you, Catherine.
You're welcome, April. Have a great day,
have a
you
great-
guys, and stay safe.
You
too.
too.
Take
Bye.
care.
All right. Bye.
I love Catherine. Whenever she comes on, I just have to let it all flow out.
That's a
She-
positive
yes,
outlook.
Yes.
You need that when you're talking about the weather, because it's not always doom and gloom, even if the skies are gray, right? And she brings
Yes,
the
she always brings the
sunshine.
sunshine,
So
the
we have the
positivity.
sunshine giving us the weather report, even in the hurricane season and the rainy season.
And it's always positive to have something like that, right? But we have to get moving for our show this morning, and we have 3 jam-packed sessions for you guys today on our first conversation. We had this conversation a couple of months ago, and we're bringing you
did.
back an update.
Yeah.
Yes, so we'll have the representatives from the Statistical Institute of Belize to provide us the update of the population and housing census.
Yeah, so that's one conversation. And then in our second conversation, we have IT Vet Belize. They'll be launching their Renewable Energy and Efficiency program. I think that's interesting to find out how IT Vet is moving into that renewable energy and efficiency sector. So if you want to find out no more about that program, then you do want to stay tuned for that second conversation.
And of course, our final conversation, which I think is an exciting conversation to have, we'll have the ladies and coach from the Belize Volleyball
Yes.
Association.
So we
all
have
to talk.
superstars
Yes,
in our
we'll
midst,
be in
in
the
our
presence
third
of superstars.
greatness.
They'll be discussing the U21
Yes.
Female Central American Volleyball Championship. So you don't want to miss that conversation. And with that, we're going to take our first break. And when we get back, we'll have SIB.
Keep still now.
Ouch.
I tell you no move.
Man, you really can't get a mannequin for this, man? Really?
Well, son, if I never lend you the $2,000 to buy the kids' computer and the book, I may have the money for buy my mannequin.
It's definitely better to borrow from the bank than from your friends or relatives. This way, all you owe is money.
Would you like me to turn around?
That would be good. Turn on, turn on, turn on.
Take advantage of the back-to-school promotion currently being offered by the Belize Bank.
The Social Security Board, in collaboration with the Labor Department, takes this opportunity to remind insured persons of the requirements for compensation when on sick leave. Any employee who has worked with an employer for at least 2 months is entitled to 16 working days of sick leave with full pay every year. This is how it works. Upon approval of a sickness or injury benefit claim by SSD, 80% of the employee's weekly insurable earnings is paid as a Social Security benefit, and the difference in the employee's salary is paid by the employer. This is to ensure that the employee does not suffer any loss of wages when ill. After 16 days, compensation for sick leave is paid as a Social Security benefit only. Some conditions apply. This message is brought to you by the Social Security Board and the Labor Department. Social Security Board, safeguarding you, your family, your future.
Make your summer better. Over $35,000 in cash and prizes with Smart Summer Sweepstakes. Here's how you can enter for a chance to win. Purchase any device, sign up for a Smart Postpaid, Broadband, or VoIP plan, use $50 or more regular prepaid credit, do a SIM swap, or text to the short code. You win 8946. And in the body of the message, enter the number of entries you would like to purchase. Each entry costs only 50 cents.
Don't waste any time. You can be the winner of weekly prizes starting July 1st. All methods give you more chances to win. Airline tickets, overnight stays at numerous resorts, cash prizes, gift certificates, and much, much more. One lucky person will win the grand prize of a $10,000 shopping spree courtesy Court and Smart.
Promotion ends September 16, 2022. So make your summer better by getting in the race to win with Smart Summer Sweepstakes. Smart, bringing people together.
Are you looking for low-cost television advertising? Have we got a deal for you? Advertise on Channel 5's Daily Classifieds. Channel 5's Daily Classifieds is one of the most effective methods for introducing yourself and your business to the community. Use our Daily Classifieds to recruit employees, promote specials, promote your products or services, promote a business opportunity, increase traffic to your website, and advertise items you have for sale. Let us help you to save valuable time and money. Call us today at 280-0013 or visit us at our offices on Coney Drive to discuss how we can help your business grow affordably. Channel 5's Daily Classifieds. Advertise today.
And we're back.
And we're back. And so, as we promised for our first conversation, we have in with us the Acting Director General of the Statistical Institute of Belize, none other than Miss Diana Castillo-Trejo. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Welcome back.
Welcome
Thank
back.
you.
It's always exciting to see you on the couch because
sure.
we know
she'll come.
Right.
We know
not
she'll
only
reach.
that, but we know we're gonna talk about numbers and statistics.
Everyone's favorite thing to talk
data.
about.
fun. I'm just saying.
No, you know, we just were talking about the fact that none of us are number people.
Yeah, but it's so important.
Yes.
The more you learn, the more you understand how important these numbers are, how important the data is. It's like, imagine you live in a house with a large family and you don't know how many kids are in your house. So you don't even know how to budget because you haven't you think you have 3 kids when you actually have 5. Understanding how many, understanding the numbers helps you in all kind of areas. And so we're here to talk about, to give us an update on the population and housing census. It's been some time, right, since we did this census.
Yeah, the last census was done in 2010. We were due to do another one in 2020, and then because of the pandemic, we were already in training and we had to just halt everything, and so we resumed this year. We actually started data collection in May of this year, and we are about 10 weeks into data collection.
Wow.
Up to now, we have been able to interview almost 165,000 persons countrywide, and that's almost 46,000 households that we have been able to reach.
Wow.
We still have a ways to go. Originally, we had intended or we had hoped to be out of the field by the end of July, but we have had some challenges, especially in terms of staffing and retaining our staff. So we are foreseeing that we are going to be extending data collection in different parts of the countries. You know, we'll be finishing up at different times, but
so what's the
for more or less
predicted?
by the end of August, most areas should be done, with the exception of Belize City, which has been one of our especially challenging areas. That area is probably going to go into September.
What do you think the challenges are?
We just have had more difficulties than in other areas with retaining staff. That has been the biggest challenge across the board, retaining staff. In some parts of the country, we actually have a lot of competing job opportunities. There are call centers that are recruiting very heavily.
I don't think we had that in 2010, right?
We did not.
Yeah.
Not even in 2020. In 2020, we did not see, at the start of training, we didn't see like the same amount of dropouts and no-shows, but it's just been a challenge that we have to work around this time.
Okay. How do we, because we're talking about staffing, how do we kind of address that going into the future? Is there anything that we could do to kind of take this process online as we look towards the future?
Well, the next one is going to be in 2030, so we have plenty of time to 8 years, but we have plenty of time to look at how we can move beyond the face-to-face data collection. I know that's a question that we get asked a lot, and we did look at that as an option when we were planning, but there are a few things that would need to be in place within the country before we are ready to take our census digital. You know, we would need to have a population that has high access to internet, for example. We need to have a population with a relatively high literacy rate. We need to have a way of monitoring all addresses so that we know that even if it's done online, we are not missing any households. So there are things that have to be in place that we can start looking at from now for the next census, but we haven't gotten there as yet for this one.
Do you do predictability ratios? So for example, if you encounter a household that perhaps has 5 people, 2 of the kids are 15, right? And you're doing the census this year, and then probably in the next 8 years, they will probably already moved out and or move out of the country or so forth. Do you do those kinds of things where perhaps this household that we come back to might only have 3 people when we see them again?
We don't because there's a lot of movement that can happen or that does happen between one census and the next. We even see it between one survey and the next, that there's a lot of change that can happen within one household. You have people migrating, you have children who grow up and move out, people just move from one dwelling to another. So there's a lot, and that's the point of having this census once every 10 years, because we know then that we will go to every single house and we're going to capture this information for every single household that lives in these houses.
So we've reached at least 100,000 persons over the last 10 weeks. That's an estimated 46,000 households. Correct? What's the reminders of the target in terms of how many persons, how many households we want to reach?
Okay, we're at about 165,000 persons.
165,000.
We have more or less 100,000 households, a bit more than 100,000 households in the country. So could say maybe we are at about 40-45% there.
Wow.
And a bit over 400,000 persons, maybe about 420,000 persons that we need to reach. As I said, one of the areas that we've been especially challenged with is in Belize City. Belize City accounts for about a quarter of all persons and households.
Yeah.
So the fact that Belize City has been slow pulls these numbers down. We have had much quicker progress in the rural areas of the country. The Toledo district is almost done. Corozal and Orange Walk are well on their way to being finished, Belmopan as well. So it's a few of these areas and like Belize City that is very populated that, you know, because it's been so slow, the numbers are slow to catch up to our target.
Is it, does it also have to do with, let's say there is nobody at home when the interviewers go, do you have to come back? Is there, what disrupts the day, the average day?
A combination of things. You do have, especially in urban areas, that's something you'd see more in the towns and the cities where the interviewers go to people's houses and no one is home. So yes, they have to come back. And they schedule their day to do like a combination of interviews during the day and also interviews in the evening and on the weekends so that they can catch people when they're at home, especially in the urban areas. So that's one challenge that they have to schedule their time around. But the bigger one here in the city has just been staffing. We've done 2 rounds of recruitment and 2 rounds of training, but we just have a high level of dropouts. And a lot of it has been, like I said, competing job opportunities. You know, we have had where we train people, they go through the 2 weeks of training and then, you know, they drop out before we start field work. So
raise them, pay and leave it.
Yeah, it's a challenge. I mean, we expect dropouts with something like this. It's hard work and it's all new staff, so we expect dropouts. But it was more than what we had planned for.
But at this point in time, is it too late to get new recruits, or are you seeking?
No, we are not anymore because the recruitment and training process, it's an expense on its own. So what we are doing now is we're looking at the areas where the data collection is about to wrap up, and we're going to redeploy these persons to areas where we need the additional staff. So that is a whole other logistical planning. We've been planning this from the start of July. It's going to take us probably about the entire month of July to get all of the logistics in place, but at the start of August, we'll be mobilizing persons to Belize City and San Pedro. These were our 2 biggest problem areas in terms of dropouts, and we'll try to get those wrapped up as quickly as we can.
So the goal at the end of the day is to reach every household.
Every single household.
Every single household across the country.
Then don't reach your house?
I know.
You see, that is the problem, Paul.
But that's a feat in and of itself. It shows the grandeur of the task. It's a huge task to undertake. We're talking about numbering the population, the size of the population, as well as housing. Speak a bit about some of the other data, some of the other things that we can get out of this census that's also important in informing national development.
Okay, well, as you said, the main thing and what people will first recognize we're doing in the census is to get the count of persons in the population. But that's just one thing. You persons who we have interviewed already will notice that we ask them questions about their living conditions, their dwelling, their home, you know, things like the material that your walls are made of or your roof is made of. These things give us an idea of the quantity and the quality of the housing stock in our country. It gives us an idea, for example, of how many houses that might be vulnerable to natural disasters are located in areas that themselves are vulnerable to natural disasters. So for things like planning for disaster response, that information is very valuable. The census is also the only opportunity that we get to collect information on some of our small but vulnerable subgroups of the population. So like disabled persons, it's very difficult to get full information on all the disabled persons in the country, but that's valuable information because the agencies that work with persons with disabilities need to know, you know, who they are, what their characteristics are, where they can be found, what their ages are. So that sort of thing, you know, is a part of all the valuable information that's going to come out of the census.
And is all this information processed and presented by the Statistical Institute of Belize? I know that you hold your press conferences and you present these data to the general public. Are we saying that we'll process these questions line by line and we'll present the data as they're found based on each individual question?
Okay, maybe not based on each individual question, but the questions make up sections or modules. Okay. So you have an entire section, for example, as I said, on disabilities. We will have a report, an analysis that is on health and disabilities. And yes, all that data is going to be processed. It's not quite manual line by line, you know, that is done now, you know, now with computers. Now you write a program.
So before it used to be
well, I mean, way back before, yes. But, you know, now a program can be written to process the data and clean the data. So, yes, it will all be processed and it will be analyzed. What we are doing this time, which we've never done before, is we're partnering with other agencies, other ministries like health and education, some of our international partners, to take sections of the census data and then to write reports just on those sections. So we'll have a report just on health and disability, and we'll have one just on employment and economic activity. We'll have one just on, you know, housing and living conditions. And our partners, we have been working with them to start to prepare them to assist us with this analysis. So next year, probably starting in March of next year, we will start releasing these reports in small batches. And we expect that for the next maybe 6 quarters, we're going to have little batches of reports that we're going to be releasing and sharing with the public. The analysis is going to be much, much richer, because one agency can focus on just their area of expertise, and there will be reports for each of these specific areas.
That's exciting.
Yeah. Do you have a coordinator or manager for each of these particular categories? And I ask because when you release that data, you have to have somebody that's able to provide a little bit of recommendation, right, when you provide the analysis. Yes.
We are, because of the role that we play, we try to refrain from, you know, going to the point of making recommendations. We believe that it is our partners who have expertise in these different areas, the decision makers and the policy makers. They're the ones who take the data, and our job is to give them the best quality data. They're the ones who should take the data and then make the decisions or the recommendations as to what should be done to address the issues and the conditions that we have identified. We do have agencies who are responsible for each of the different thematic areas, but in terms of coordination, the SIB, will have to be coordinating all of the report writing and working with each of them.
So we did take up her time right now to be here.
I know that the Ministry of Immigration, that they are about to launch their amnesty program, and I asked that to ask, as we collect data, whether or not we're also collecting information on undocumented migrants and migration in a whole.
Okay, we're collecting information on everyone who is living in Belize at the time of the census. We don't ask persons' immigration status, whether they are legally here or not legally here. We ask whether they were born here. So we will be able to give account of the foreign-born population, which is not exactly the same thing as differentiating whether persons are here legally or not legally. The reason we don't do that is because it's just considered best practice to not ask that question. It's a deterrent to participation, and the census is so important that you need to have everyone participate. You don't want to be missing entire chunks of your population because they're afraid to participate. So we will know, the size of the foreign-born population. We'll know if they're working. We'll know if they have social security. We'll know if they're going to school. We'll know their living conditions, but we won't know whether they're here legally or illegally. That is best done through a different type of data collection.
But like you mentioned before, the data that the SIB collects does go to our administration, and therefore they can decide for themselves to use that data or not.
Yes, and a lot of these government ministries and agencies who have an interest in the data, they sit on our Census Advisory Committee. So they've been working with us since the beginning of this process in 2016 or so, when we started planning for the census. They had their inputs into the questionnaire. So these agencies have been a part of the process. They know what we're collecting, and these are the ones who are going to be waiting for that data to be processed and provided to them so they can work with it.
With over 125,000 Belizeans already reached, are we already beginning to process this data, or are we waiting until it's the finished end of the process?
We are we're not processing the data as yet, but we are doing some checks in real time. So there are certain indicators, yes, that we are processing. We are
what are those?
We look at things like the average household size, for example, and we look at the breakdown by age groups. We look at the percentage of households that are headed by females. We look for these things to see if they are looking like what they have looked like in previous years, so that if there is something that's very different from what we have seen in previous years, then that indicates that there might be a problem with the data that we need to address. So there are certain indicators, yes, that we track in real time for quality purposes, but the processing of all the data, that will be when data collection is complete. It's not a manual process, as I said. It's an automated kind of thing. So the important thing is to get the data collected, get all that data into the servers so that we can start processing it.
So that's not necessarily information to share with the public as an initial look into what we're seeing, but it's more so to kind of guide the quality of your data collecting process.
And I mean, it gives also an indication of things that we can expect to look a little different than they did in the last census. Like we're seeing across the board, and we're already 165,000 persons in, that the average household size is probably going to be smaller. Last census, the average household size was about 4-point-something persons, 4.1 persons.
Even in the rural areas?
In rural areas as well. Rural areas have larger households still, but the average household size will most likely be smaller across the board. And I mean, we can look with our partners as to all the reasons why that might be, but that is something that we're seeing consistently in all the districts, in all the areas of the country.
That's so interesting. People are having less kids and the economy is becoming unstable. That's great, isn't it?
Is there anything initially you could tell us about about household incomes and what's happening?
No, we're not tracking household incomes at this time. I mean, we're collecting the data on it, but that's not one of the indicators that we're tracking.
But you are asking if they have jobs.
Yes, there is an entire section on employment.
Nothing on employment you could tell us initially as well.
Not we're
sorry, I'm just trying to see what can we get right now.
No, that is one I would be very careful about.
I also feel that
giving preliminary numbers for that.
Definitely.
So. I mean, nobody would want to share their salary either. That's a whole different conversation. But so when it comes to your your difficulties in staffing and so forth. Now you have to relocate certain people to come to certain areas. What is it that you're asking from the general population? You're 165,000 people in. You need to cover almost 400,000 people. What do you need from the Belizean public?
Well, as usual, we're asking participation and cooperation. When our interviewers come to your house, just cooperate. They're well trained, they're well supervised, and persons can feel confident that the data that we're collecting is completely confidential. When someone's record reaches to our servers, when that data is sent to our servers, there is not even a name on your record. There's just a number. Yes. So no one can be identified from the data that you give. And besides that data is not shared with anyone outside of the SIB. So all of persons' individual records, that is only for use inside of the SIB for producing this information and these statistics when we're reporting on the census. So cooperation, we're definitely asking for that. I have had some concerns communicated to me about persons asking, like they're not sure if someone who has gone to their house is actually an SIB interviewer. I will remind again that our interviewers can be easily identified. They're wearing a vest with our logo on it. They have these large ID cards hung around their neck. In the villages, they're traveling in teams in vans that have our logo and the census logo marked on them. So they're very easy to identify. But if in doubt, persons can contact our office. They can contact us by email. They can even contact us through our social media channels and confirm that a person who has gone to their house is indeed one of our interviewers. I know that there are other surveys that are taking place around the country that are completely unrelated, and persons, sometimes we reach to their house and they will say, well, someone just came here and collected information. So I'm asking persons that, just because the census is so important, I understand that it can be a pain that someone just came to your house and did a survey there and then our interviewers come. But we're asking that this is so important that persons, cooperate. Just, it's just to sit down with the interviewer, go through the questionnaire, and then it's done. And your information is completely safe with the SIB.
So if somebody from SIB hasn't come to your house yet, wait, they're coming.
Yes,
right?
they are coming.
They are. And so you're predicting at least till the end of August, maybe September.
Belize City will most likely go into September. The rest of the country should be done by the end of August or earlier.
All right. Well, Mr. Ho, what we are looking forward to is the results coming out of these information, this data, and so we definitely look forward to seeing all of that in March, hopefully earlier, but as we go into 2023 and throughout that time. So thank you once again for
dropping by
and giving us an update on this.
Thank you too.
All right. And with that, we are going to take another break. But before we get to that, Paul, what is your look of the week?
My look of the week?
Yeah, your look of the week. Do you know?
I'm not sure.
Well, Phoenix Boutique will tell us what your look of the week.
Well, there you go.
So there it is. Stay tuned.
Welcome to the Phoenix. Today we're presenting our look of the week. We're taking a casual approach. Here we have our white Monstera earrings from Meraki, Belize, our Pandora necklace, a satin corseted top with a white short trousers, both from Zara. We completed this look with a Michael Kors handbag and a Michael Kors sandals.
Technology is ubiquitous, and it's transforming how, when, and where we work. Fulltech Systems is placing award-winning devices in the hands of information workers, allowing them to work without compromise in a world without wires, to innovate, create, and to maximize productivity anytime, anywhere, satisfying the needs of the desk-centric remote and field worker and every other worker in between. We are providing the industry's best devices to businesses going through the process of digital transformation. Partner with us today to provide the solutions that will allow your employees to work effectively and efficiently to enhance your customers' experience. Full-Tech Systems, your technology center, where you'll come for the price, but stay for the service.
Belize Tropical Hemp Company Limited introduces its new CBD products. CBD milk chocolate and CBD dark chocolate. Vegan, gluten-free with no GMO. CBD oil, 100% natural, provides many health benefits such as relieving pain and anxiety and improved heart health. Hemp cigarettes come in a pack of 10 natural hemp smokables. CBD seaweed, natural and refreshing, rich in vitamins and minerals. All products are produced and packaged by Belize Tropical Hemp Company Limited.
I'm on my way to Benny's, where I can get what I need and save some money. After 75 years in the business, nobody do it like Benny's. Hello, how may I help you? Anything you need, we got you. Whether it tools or tiles, lights and fans, we are serving with a smile. Genuine plumbing and electric supply, quality construction supply, heating and air condition, 100% Belizean. Benny's, celebrating 75 years. Quality and savings, quality and savings. Benny's, celebrating 75 years. Quality and savings, quality and savings. Benny's, celebrating 75 years. Quality and savings. Quality and savings. Yo, this is Super G the General, and I want to invite you all to the
Belize International Music and Food Festival.
That will be held for 2 nights, July 30th
and the 31st at Sakachispas Field. This party insane.
As you left my yard, tell me why you come back.
You know, it's yours truly, King Room Official.
It's your boy Stick the Artist.
My name is Clayton Williams.
It's your boy Dando.
Hi, my name is Deja.
TLC, baby.
Blessings, everybody. This is Original Coffee inviting you out to the Belize International Music and Food Festival in San Pedro. There will be me, many other artists. There will be enough music, enough food. So come out, enjoy yourself.
Ahora sí te voy a mostrar. Time out. La mayoría del tiempo los niños no saben que están haciendo algo mal. Usando violencia solo les enseña que pegando es la única manera de solucionar las cosas. Esto solo empeorará la situación y dañará su relación. Tómese un tiempo y hable con sus hijos de lo que está bien y mal. Construyan una relación basada en entendimiento, respeto y amor.
Lexani, sweetie, it's a very nice drawing, but you know you shouldn't draw on walls. You know how hard it is to keep the house clean. We will wash it off, and from now on, we will draw only on paper. ¿Entiendes?
Are back with our second conversation for this morning, and I'm excited to pulse up my cup this one. In studio with us, we have Denroy Tillett, the manager of the IT Vet Belize, and Diana Ireland, who is a faculty member. And they're here to talk to us about the first of its kind ever renewable energy and efficiency program. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you. Yes, as you rightly mentioned, it is the first of its kind in the region and in the country. And I'm proud to say at IT Vet Belize City, our renewable energy and efficiency program.
So it's in the name, but give us the details. What is the program and why is this important for us?
Okay, you know that they had this energy efficiency project, I believe of 2020. And the pillars that came out of that specifically focus on renewable energy, energy efficiency mechanisms, infrastructure that deals with go green and the lessening of fossil fuels. And so through the birth of that program and the need to have renewable energy efficiency technicians in Belize and train for possibly the region. This program came about with through the Ministry of Education, the Inter-American Development Bank as a sponsor. We've been doing, actually this program was in discussion for the past 3 years. We've been doing program training since February, and now we're ready to open up the program. And it's out of the need for definitely moving towards a healthier environment, reducing the use of fuels that harm the environment, as well as assisting the Belizean economy. BEL, I believe you may know, in a program related, they have been doing a lot of research, a lot of questionnaires in asking both commercial and residential of the move towards solar panel use. And coincidentally with, or coinciding with that is where we also see the need for training young Belizeans to be able to learn to build and design solar panels, installation, repairs, maintenance. And so this program came about with all that excitement and push.
As a project that is taking the lead nationally and regionally, how are we building capacity among the trainers, those who will have to teach these courses? What are we doing to ensure that they are able to provide this information in a way that actually builds the capacity of your students?
I'll have Mr. Ireland answer that question, being part of that program.
Okay, well, there are approximately, from IT Vet Belize, we have about 7 instructors that are currently undertaking the teacher training, which is being done by Nova Scotia Community College from Canada. And they're the ones that are training us both theory and practical, because we do have to do practical components, and that is being led by an in-country trainer, Mr. Mark Miller. So we're taking these courses to enable us to facilitate and execute the program at its highest capacity. It is not a walk in the park. I am a participant in the program. It is something very new for me because I'm the communications instructor. But this program is not only looking at the technical component, but we do have support systems such as applied science, applied mathematics, communications, specifically my field as well. And we're looking, yes, also entrepreneurship. So we're looking at techniques, strategies that we can utilize with our trainees. So at the end of this program, we not only meet what the curriculum is asking for, but also what potential employers are asking for as well. So we do have a very strong support when it comes to the teacher training component. we do have to do our assignments, we do have to do demonstrations of what is it that we're learning. So we're not just sitting there and soaking in information. But when you look at the TVET system, we are competency-based. You have to be able to show what you can do. It's not only theory-based. So it falls right in line with how the ITVET operates, and it's a very strenuous but an excellent program.
What I love about the program, April, is that this is the direction the world is moving in.
Exactly.
Yes.
When we talk about decreasing our use of fossil fuels or decreasing our dependency on fossil fuels, moving towards more renewable energy, when we talk about greenhouse gases and decreasing the temperature of the earth, it's a huge wave across the world. And so this is definitely a trend-setting move, not only in Belize,
in the region,
but across the region. Yes. And then I also think about the interest that it may and potentially will spark among our young individuals, even those who may see the ITVET as just a place where you go and you receive technical training on this and that, to know that perhaps you guys are the only ones, right? Not perhaps, you're the only ones offering this type of training in this field. The type of interest that it will garner.
Right. I wanted to specify that the ladies of SATEM are doing something similar, but the difference with ITVET is that this is a curriculum. This is a program. Yes. And how long is it? 2 years?
2 years.
Okay.
2 years. 2 years. The beauty with this program as well too is that of course they will get their certification from ITVET, but the training will allow the potential trainees to do certification through, hold on, let me read it for you because I always forget this name. Through the national, US-based National Association of Board Certified Energy Practitioners. And the training that they get, they'll be able to take the exam. We'll be able to discuss the fees and so on with them with that exam later on. But once they take that, they get certification in renewable energy and solar energy, and they'll be trained, certified technicians that can use these skills throughout the Caribbean and throughout the world. So because this is very accredited. This is accredited worldwide.
So where's the curriculum coming from?
It's a development through the Nova Scotia Community College. It was through consultancy, and we've been working with them for the past couple of years in developing an entire curriculum, train the trainers, which Mrs. Ireland is part of. And now we're going to open the program on August 29th, where we're inviting in applicants to be potential.
So walk us through the program itself. How do they begin to develop these skills, and how does it progress until they're finished and completion?
Okay, so as all programs, you know, you have the theory base and then into the practical. It's two
semesters.
Years with trimesters. So there'll be 3 semesters per year, so it's 6 semesters. The first couple of semesters, of course, will be the theory base. Introduction, they get introduction to the type of materials, type of equipment being used. They will have lab time, but the lab time is less in the first couple of semesters. And as we move along, then they will have more lab time using the materials, the resources, building solar panels, learning installation, learning to troubleshoot, learning to maintain them. At the end of the 2 years, they'll be what we refer to as level 2 trainees, that they'll be out on their own. And that's why we include the entrepreneurship component, because they'll be able to hire out themselves to do solar panel installation and repair. And since we're moving in that direction, there may be the potential young men and women that BEL will have to lean on to assist them when this whole thing bursts out in the Belizean community, where everyone will start having solar panels on their roof.
I mean, people are doing that now, especially in rural areas that don't have electricity.
Yes.
Right. When it comes to installation and even buying solar panels, they come off very expensive. How does this program help Belizeans to be able to afford solar energy?
Well, for one, these young people will learn how to build and design and build these solar panels. The ladies down south that you mentioned, they have learned to build them as well. They're doing it for their community because of the access of electricity in remote villages. And even though we have electricity in Belize City, for example, as you rightly said, they move towards that go green,
reduces costs.
Yeah, reducing fossil fuels, that these young people, they will be learning to build it. I can't say right now what will be the cost of the materials, but learning to build it will certainly lessen the cost of the materials. And in the first instance, it will cost any Belizean consumer just in the first to get that installed. But when you add it in years down the road, reducing the use of electricity through the grid, then that's where the money saving will come in. So it's a long-term investment. We have to look at it as a long-term investment, and that's where the economic viability of it can be seen.
Have we been able to gauge, and I mentioned right earlier that this is the direction the world is moving in. However, have we been able to gauge the demand for this service, this type of service in Belize, so that when these persons finish this training, there's some guarantee that they'll be able to find a place in the labor force?
At the moment, we know there are several, well, a few industries already that deal with solar panels, but they're more business that sell them. And I believe a couple of them do little training for their specific technicians that are there. But as I mentioned earlier, I've also answered that survey for BEL. I sign up and say, yes, I want it on my home. And I'm pretty sure hundreds of thousands of Belizeans said the same. Homeowners, they said the same. So there will be that demand in the near future. What we have done is that we're a step ahead. We don't want to wait until they need technicians, then go and train them. We're a step ahead in training them, that they will have these skills that they probably will be called upon right away to help do the installations on homes. BL will not have enough technicians when they start doing or embarking into this system.
And before the project was undertaken, there were consultations with not only the many different stakeholders, including those of industry. And as we mentioned before, we can be considered a training hub. It is the first in the region and also nationally. So you're not only looking at the national level in terms of employment, but these persons will have the certification that they can step outside of Belize to utilize their skills. And then when you look at the different career paths, it's not only installing and designing, but you can also be an estimator, you can be a project manager, you can be a sales representative, an advisor, customer support. As we rightly mentioned, this is something new for Belize. So a lot of people don't have the technical knowledge in terms of understanding, okay, I'm venturing into this project, how will it work? So that is where the advisor comes in, that is where the salesperson comes in, whereby they can, and that's part of my job, to prepare our technicians to sit and explain to their potential customers, okay, I need to do an energy audit to see how much you're utilizing, so we will know whether or not the investment whether it will be maximized or if it will be worth the while for you to do it. So there are many different career paths that a person can take. And besides looking at maintaining the systems, you can take this knowledge and apply it in many different fields, in many different ways, locally, regionally, internationally.
So yes, go ahead.
Sorry, there's also the addition of the solar water heating system. So even technicians from BWS could come and take this program, because there's a section that works directly with water heating systems and water systems, so they will need to learn that part of it as well. And we will do small scale wind and wind design and operations.
Okay.
So if I am wanting to apply to your program, can I? And I have another job. can I apply to your program as a part-time student, or does it have to be full-time?
Well, right now it is during the day and full-time. We are in discussion of seeing how we can run this program in the evening, probably on a shift basis. But in the first instance, it's just starting. It's like a pilot. We're running the program during the day, and I believe as we go along, we will work towards that, because I'm pretty sure there are key people out there in the working force that does electrical, that works with BWS, that are probably working somewhere else. I think Miss Ireland said someone spoke to her if he can come take the program, being that he's working for so many years. But then this is a business person, and they want the opportunity to come and do it, I guess, in the evening time. So that is something we will venture in. But in the first instance, it's during the day, full time. One last thing, we have 10 applicants already that have applied and been accepted. So we have space for at least 10 to 15 more. If we push it to 15 more, we're actually pushing the limitation, but we do not want to deny anyone who wants to be part of it. So
how can they apply? Where can they go?
Right at ITVET, you come for the application form. We guide you through all that you need to bring in. But more so, this program calls for high school graduate or higher, because of the technicality of it. We want them to come with some requisite background that they'll be able to cope in the applications.
I mean, this is the future, and I know we're talking about technology and we're moving in a way of technology. This is a way for us to move towards that sustainably and to use the natural energies that we have around us. I am so excited for this program.
So, as we talk about trainings that the ITVET Belize has to offer, let's delve a bit more into some of the other training opportunities that's being offered.
Okay,
at
we
ITVET
have we have the other programs that are very well attended and applied, but we have two that I want to specifically mention.
Yes.
One is our tourism, community tourism. That program will focus specifically on potential trainees who would want to come in and learn to work in the tourism industry. We have this project being built right out here in front of the city that will hire thousands of people in the future, and they will require having a tourism license. So this specific program, when the trainees are finished, they will learn to communicate, work with tourists, whether they're working as janitress, up to management, up to concierge, barista, whatever it is. They'll be able to the communication part, and as well, once they're finished with this program, they should be able to take the BTB exam and get their tourism license.
So that's one, the tourism.
Yes, the community tourism. The other one is our food preparation, which is moving in the direction of learning to cook more nutritious and healthier meals. So yes, they will still probably be learning to make that fried jack or tortilla, but the correct portions and in a more nutritious and healthy way. And our trainer for it, our instructor, has done a bachelor's degree in nutrition and food preparation. So we're excited that she will now be part of our team and helping to show us to prepare more nutritious meals. And these programs we have spaces for, so
sign up, go to ITVET,
rush to the ITVET as of today.
To come in and apply.
Yes, well, we're out of time, but we want to thank you both so much for coming in. This is the Renewable Energy and Efficiency Program of August 2022.
Yes.
Right. Thank you so much. We hope that you get your applicants. I want to sign up, but I have to make that part-time. I have to do that part-time for me.
We'll look into that.
Great. Well, then we see each other at ITVET. With that, we'll take another break, and we'll be back with our last segment, so stay tuned.
I'm always on the go, and the country is my home. So when I want to get away from it all, I immerse myself with my favorite movies, all from the new Smart Stream app. It's easy to use this service. Purchase your movies from the app and use your mobile data, Smart Stream data packages, or smart broadband to stream and enjoy. Be like me and stream on the go with Smart Stream.
As a parent, raising a family has its challenges.
How many times have I told you not to play ball in the house?
But growing up in a family has its challenges too.
I can't take this no more.
Let me share a little bit about what mine was like with you.
Uncle, where do you get your information from?
Right up on Facebook, you show me.
Guess what? Lisa got her period.
But don't get me wrong, we had fun too.
Well, like me, like 1, 2, 3.
I can't wait to share more about For We Family. Your life just got a lot less complicated with Belize Bank Contactless MasterCard Debit Card. Introducing our Standard Debit and MasterCard Platinum Debit Cards. Now you can make purchases anywhere MasterCard is accepted with one tap, pay and go. Your contactless card never has to leave your hands, especially in these times. And your card is embedded with multiple layers of security. Platinum card holders get to enjoy extra benefits like price protection, purchase protection, trip inconvenience, and luggage protection, just to name a few. Start enjoying a cashless lifestyle today with the Belize Bank.
Hey, Dad.
Hi, Brian. Stop running around the house.
Right now, Dad.
Damn it, Brian! I told you stop it! Can't you hear me? Are you deaf? Or you just being
Time out. Your life is stressful, and it is easy to lose your patience. When you feel this is about to happen, take a time out. Harsh words are verbal violence and can be very harmful. They are not forgotten. Offering alternatives and communicating with your child is the best way to build real respect.
I'm sorry, Brian. That just had a rough day at work. Can you do something quiet?
Do you want a job?
That's more like it.
Been drinking all night, feeling so high. Better not drive, won't even try.
Been drinking all night, feeling so high. Better not drive, ain't gon' try. Been drinking all night, feeling so high. Better not drive, ain't gon' try. If you're drinking and driving, I'm not going with ya. If you're drinking and driving, I'm not going with ya. People die every day, I'm not going with ya. I'ma find my own way, I'm not going with ya. It's okay, I'll wait. Even good people make mistakes. I don't wanna realize when it's too late. Drinking and driving is never safe. If you're drinking and driving, I'm not going with ya. If you're drinking and driving, I'm not going with ya. Been drinking all night, feeling so high. Better not drive, ain't gon' try. Been drinking all night, feeling so high. Better not drive, ain't gon' try.
So class, let's review your homework. What are some of the things that we can do
make sure everyone has a clean and reliable supply of water.
Sir, we should turn off the faucet when using soap to bathe, to wash our hands, and maybe even our cars. This will cut our water bills and save us a lot of water.
My dad says we should keep the area around the water pipes close to our houses clean.
Yes, sir. We should encourage our parents to pay their water bills so the entire village will always have clean water.
Right, class. We should not forget to attend water board meetings and add our 2 cents. Make sure everyone has reliable, clean water.
My mom says that we young people can volunteer to paint the public water pipe.
So, how do we make sure we will always have reliable, clean water?
Join the Clean Water Revolution.
Get involved today and do your part to keep your water supply clean and reliable.
The Department of Rural Development is working on achieving Goal 6 of the Sustainable Development Goals, which is to ensure access to water and sanitation for all.
And we're back. We have our final conversation for you this morning. A very exciting conversation because we have superstars in our midst. April.
They are. They're celebrities.
We have celebrities. We have some amazing Belizean talent with us. And of course, we're talking about members of the U21 female volleyball national team.
Yes.
I'm sure I kind of got that wrong in the order, but people know exactly what I mean.
They know, they need no introduction.
And so we have with us, first of all, Sophia Solano, libero at the U21 Female Central American Volleyball Championship, a competition. Then we have Miss Gareth Bruce, correct? She is an outside hitter. Again, she competed in the U21 Female Central American Volleyball Championship. And then we have Mr. Alan Sharp. Got your name and your identity correct. And he is the president not the coach of the Belize Volleyball Association. Good morning.
Good morning.
All three of you. The last time we were on set with
right before the championship.
With Sophia was right before the championship when we spoke about that.
Okay, so just before we get started, congratulations.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. I think I speak for everybody in this country when I say we are so proud of the hard work, the effort, the cramps that you clearly have now, and just the fact that you took your hearts out and you put it on that court, that was amazing. So congratulations to you both.
Thank
you.
And
to you too, Mr. President.
And thank you.
April, you see the medals?
Yes.
I mean, you see how big and
shiny.
And
then you have some awards that are on the table.
And then they have awards.
Which we'll get into all of that. But so, the championship, how do you feel? Tell us all about it.
Well, I feel like we all worked incredibly hard moving up. You know, in the months before the tournament, we put a lot of work in, and I truly believe that we did our best out there. I think that we really just took everything that we have, everything that we trained for, and we did put it out on the court. And I think that obviously this is a result of that. In the last game, I genuinely believe that we put everything out there. We tried our best, and I think that it's safe to say that we did everything we could against that Guatemala game. So,
I mean, it's clear to say that the competition was intense. I think everyone that was watching was like on their toes, and I do think that regardless of the outcome, I mean, I know how it is for want the first right, but you guys did an amazing job. You did your country proud. So don't let anybody take that away from you.
Thank you.
And the other question that I had was, how was the training leading up to it? Because I know we talked about the championship itself, but the training, what was the intensity like?
Okay, so we practiced like every day. We had 2 practices, Monday to Friday, and 1 on Saturday in the morning. The practice were very intense. I would I would miss some practices because I was so tired, but I made up for it in the other practices, you know. But we were tired. We worked hard during practices because we know what we wanted before we went into the tournament. So I would say it was very intense.
I think it's incredible, and of course I'm echoing you, but what you both and your teammates did on the court, you with your ability to be able to get low and pick up those balls. I mean, there were times when I feel like you were under the ground to pick up balls because of how low you were able to get and recover plays that seemed almost impossible to recover from. And then, of course, you, Miss Bruce, you're up there. You're flying you're like a little blackbird just up there. But when you get up there, it's almost as if you're able to assess the entire other side of the court within seconds, and even during your assessment you're able to make a play. And so I saw moments that were so impressive when you were able to avoid being blocked by kind of, I don't know, pushing the ball to the side, and you made those plays several times, which gained points for Team Belize. What goes into becoming that type of volleyball player?
I would say training. Training, like, because I'm so small, I have to learn to be more smart. I have to see blockers, because like the other hitters are much like taller, so they can go over the block, they can hit over the block. In my case, I'm up there, but I'm not over the blockers, so I have to try to move around them. And I would just say training with Profe. He, like, during, like, I would say a couple days before the tournament, he had me hitting to position 4, the cross that I did, like, every hit in the Guatemala game, I trained for that. So I would just
so that
say
became kind of automatic for you at some point. Yeah, that's crazy.
Talk to us about the teams that you played. Give us a little bit of an insight. You being the player in that game, what was going through your head for some of these games?
Okay, well, as a team, we kind of scoped out which teams would be harder for us, and we identified those teams as Honduras and Guatemala. For me, I noticed that teams, like, every team has their own strategy. So as a libero, I noticed that, for example, El Salvador attacked with their service. They had a nice serve. Even Honduras did a little bit as well. And I think that as a team, we have to also look at our opponents and decipher, you know, what they're capable of, what we're capable of, and how we could try to combat any of their attacking, you know. So basically, for me, I noticed that Guatemala was the hardest team there. Every other team we actually beat in 3 sets, which I think is a very good result for Belize. We've never had a tournament like that clean. I mean, we won every team up until Guatemala in 3 straight sets. So I think that's a really amazing result, and I'm really proud of my team for that. But yeah, that's kind of what we were thinking about the teams, looking at what they're good at, what we're good at, and how we can find our way to beat them.
I want to take the conversation to you, President, and talk to you about how you are strategizing these championships and where the future is going with this volleyball team.
Well, since 2016, we've been trying to host every year. In fact, we're almost required to host. You have to come up with a very big excuse or good excuse. And saying financial is the international bodies don't understand that that a government may not be putting out all the money. You know, this tournament costs approximately $200,000 to host.
Wow.
And because 99% of countries do that, they don't understand when we say we can't because of that. So that's no longer an excuse that they accept from us. And if you don't, you get sanctioned. So for example, there's a team in Central America this year, Costa Rica, who has not hosted, and they're going to be at the next assembly. They'll be that will be addressed. So we have to host. So next year we plan to host again. Because we know that, we try to make sure above everything to try and get the teams ready. We've been very fortunate with this female team because we've had a good female program. You know, as you know, we've had, this is our 4th silver. In fact, just yesterday in all the WhatsApp and chats going on, you see where the Belizean people and the teams are now expecting gold, which is actually a good thing for us because before just getting to the medal was a big thing. Yes. But now you see where they said, okay, well now this is our 4th silver. But we are right on the cusp. We're right there. We're just about to do it. And there's still a lot more different tournaments to go to this year. The U23 goes next week Tuesday to Honduras. After that, we have a senior team going away in late October. So there's a lot of volleyball happening throughout the year. So apart from a $200,000 tournament, we have tournaments to go to, and having a strong female program definitely helps for us to try and continue to have a lot of success.
As we look back at that final match, without discrediting the victories we had throughout the week, at those impressive victories, what would each one of you say were the defining moments in that match that rendered the results it did?
Well, I think that our team honestly did the best it could. I think that we really were fighting that. We lost in 5 sets. So it's not like we gave it away or anything. I think that we really worked incredibly hard. I think that one thing that we could have tried to look at more would be the mental part of it, because I think that with the whole rivalry between Belize and Guatemala, there was a bit of pressure, you know. The entire Civic was filled, which, by the way, is incredible.
It is.
We were so grateful for that. That was amazing to see. It was crazy. Yeah. I mean, it was incredible to see so many Belizeans out there, you know, cheering for us.
Whole seed.
Yes, it was. I have it now.
Me too.
It was crazy, but you know, of course, that does add a little bit of pressure for the players, you know. But I think that we did make sure to fight till the very end. I mean, the 5th set. Yes, it was close. The 5th set was 11-15, I believe. So it was very close, and I think that we fought very hard. But yeah, at the end of the day, I think that a little bit of pressure might have gotten to us.
And you share the same sentiments, Ms. Cara?
Yeah, I agree with her.
Do you think that, so for next year, right, when we have our championship, because we're hosting, what is it that you think we need to do for Team Belize to get to gold?
Well, I think, of course, training is a huge component of that. I mean, but there are also many different aspects of the game. You know, you have, of course, the mental aspect, the competitive mindset, as well as the technical part of it, and training, and, you know, being better physically. So I think that if we just try to improve in all aspects, I think that would allow us to eventually reach gold. I mean, before, like Mr. Sharp said, I mean, we were hoping for a medal for like a long time. And I think for the first time, at least for our age group, I think this is the first time we actually thought, okay, like gold is right there, we can get it, you know? And before it was always like, okay, let's try to get a medal. So since we're like in that mindset now, where we're so close, I think that we just get closer every tournament.
Yeah, I'd like to add that, I mean, that's exactly right. I think we're now in, first of all, we are 400,000 against 40 million people in Central America. And to do what we do is
incredible,
you know, massive. But it's the mental side that takes growth. You have to grow into it. A lot of people think you can just go and win gold, but every step from going from no medal to medal is it's mental. We are preparing. We have good coaches. We are ready. Going from bronze to silver was a growth. Going from silver to gold. And just so everybody knows, that Guatemala team was just in a big international tournament before coming here. So that gives them an advantage, especially mentally, because they've gone through mental stress. We unfortunately couldn't. So that's part of the growth that we'll have to continue to do.
So I want to talk a little bit about the awards that were presented to you all after the games were concluded. And of course, you know, just to give that little bit of credit to Ms. Fatima, who won the best spiker, and then of course you, Garrett, who won second best spiker, and then Iman Safa, who won best setter. Tell us about the awards that we have here on the table this morning.
Yes, awards.
We don't know anything.
Best libero.
Yes, best libero. Okay, tell us about your award.
Okay, so I think that I just want to make sure that everybody knows that these awards are based on statistics. These aren't given out based on like who you think should get the award.
Right,
you know, it's based on statistics. So I think that a lot of our players are very skilled. I mean, we have a lot of skilled players in Belize. I personally was a bit surprised because on the statistics, I was like, I think third for best libero. But in the Guatemala game, we went to 5 sets. So that allowed me to get more touches in, allowed me to, you know, try to have better stats, you know. So I was a bit surprised, I will admit. I don't know if you guys saw it on the TV, but I was so surprised because I didn't think I would get it. But of course, I knew that Garrett and Fatima would get that award. I mean, they're like always up there. They're beating those balls. Like it was like a no-brainer for them.
When you were getting ready for your set and then you spike, I don't know that never made a block.
Exactly.
Like everybody's just like, it's not, okay, it's done. Point. Yes. But
your award?
My award basically has its name on it, Best Attacker. I think, well, I know I got it because I was kind of consistent in a couple games. Right. Yeah. So
she's not giving her
personally, I felt like the best game I had was against Guatemala. I feel like the first 2 games against Nicaragua and El Salvador, it was an okay game, but it was not my best. So it was kind of inconsistent hitting wise. So that kind of gave me motivation to be better in the other games. The first game against Nicaragua was a lot of mistakes. So, yeah.
I like that I noticed that you both talk about the Guatemala game a lot, which was, I guess, your most challenging game. And I guess it sets you up for what to expect next time. But talk to us about the game that you did win. I mean, the first game, the second game, and then the third game, and we're all just there like, all right, gold. We can smell it. So talk to us about the first few games.
I think that also kind of could have added pressure because, you know, we were winning those games 3 sets each, like straight wins. Yes. So, of course, we were like, okay, Guatemala's next, you know. But we, of course, knew that they were a difficult team. They play very fast, which is something that we've noticed, that they set very quickly. And I think that kind of gave us a little bit of challenge as well because no other team, like we were able to always block them or we were able to defend. But because they play so fast, it was a bit harder for us to defend against their attacking, you know. And they're also I think they are very consistent as well. But of course, I mean, we did, like I always say, we all continued to push as hard as we could. And we gave it our best shot, you know. And I think that, you know, as we progress, as we continue practicing, I think that we're able to play faster ourselves. Iman is an incredible setter, and, you know, I think, and she also, like you said, won best setter. So as we progress, I think that we're gonna get better, quicker, and eventually win gold.
How do you recover from errors? I know it's mental, I would imagine, because errors were made, but you know, at least I could see it in your faces that you know when you make an error and you're like, ugh, but you have to get back up and you have to continue. There were times when perhaps there weren't somebody to support after a block. And so they find a place and then they put down the ball. And then you realize, you know what, that was an error, but you still have to continue playing. How do you recover from errors? What do you tell yourself?
Well, you could ask Garrett. Like every time I make a passing error or something, I was like, okay, you know what? Next one, done. You know, like I try to like tell that to myself specifically so that I know, okay, let's erase that. Even if I know I feel bad about it, like I try to at least tell myself, okay, the next one is I'm gonna get the next one, just so I can kind of erase that and move on. So.
For me, that was a growth for me because like in past tournaments, like I would be blocked and I just shut down immediately. Yeah, for past tournaments. But as I like grew and became, you know, better, it was like I get blocked. Okay, that's one block. I'm still unstoppable. Like I know I am, and I could be.
She's still the best attacker.
Yeah. So I think growth and over time playing, becoming like older mentally, that helped a lot.
Okay, Coach. So Coach, President. Tell us where we are going. You said that we're going to be hosting possibly next year. There is another tournament. How do you keep volleyball engaged throughout the entire year?
Well, we try to have different local tournaments. In Belize City, we have a D1, which now hopefully after this, we have a lot more fans. But right now, actually, there's competitions that are happening around the country that are just for the weekend or just a one day that are going very well. They've had in Spanish Lookout, different parts of the country. So, and especially after this tournament, we expect to see more. We have different associations around the country, so that's happening. But the key thing is to have local tournaments as much as possible, because that's the only way to keep not only the girls active, but to have new players, to have a wide range of players. Volleyball is looked at as like a family sport. That means we expect that everybody can play from the cradle to all the way very old, and hopefully we'll get there very soon. But it's also a great tournament for everybody to come out. So that's also happening. But training, these girls can tell you that they train at least 11 months of the year throughout, and same with the men. The men are training throughout, and that's beside club training. There's club training, there's national team training. So volleyball is happening throughout the year. That's always, and also beach volleyball. We have a lot of beach volleyball happening right now at the same time. So volleyball, I think if you look good, you might see a ball going outside.
I mean, that's the amount of influence that these ladies have put out into. I think that when we were scrolling through social media, everything was about the volleyball championship.
Let me ask as we wrap up. What do these medals mean to you? What does this victory and this placement mean?
Well, of course, it's an amazing accomplishment. We can't deny that. I mean, it is a silver medal that we worked really hard for. We didn't just say, here you go, here's a medal. We worked our hardest in this tournament, and I think that, like I mentioned before, this is one of the best tournaments that we've had, if you think about it, because of those 3 straight 3-set wins. So I honestly am incredibly proud of our team and how hard we've worked to get these medals and the awards as well. And I think that, like we've been saying, this is just one more step before gold. We're gonna get there soon.
I think the medals are just a huge part of us now, because before, we weren't even close to a medal. It was always 4th or 5th, not even 3rd. It was so hard. And then this is one team where we couldn't have pick a set starting 6. We never had a wide base of athletes to choose from. In this tournament, we had everything. We had servers, we had attackers, we had setters, we had everything, and that just came with the training and the preparation and everything. So the medal to me is just a big part of me and my future and my accomplishment.
I love it. Thank you so much.
So what we'll do is go around and get some final closing thoughts. Anybody you want to thank, you go right ahead and do just that.
There's your camera right there.
Okay. Well, first of all, I just wanted to thank the entirety of all the fans who came out to support us, because that was really important to us. It was important to see you, to hear your voices. That was just an incredible experience. I think I could speak for all the players and say that we all definitely had cold feet when we saw you all out there. And of course, once again, thank you to Ms. Peter Kwan, our main coach, Jose Fontes, Nelissa, Larry, and everybody else who supported us along the way. And of course, people like our parents, our families who also supported us throughout the tournament. Thank you very much.
I just want to say thank you to everybody, honestly, the entire Belize population, the coaches, the staff, the assistant that helped prepare the civic for us. I want to thank the government. I know they were a huge part of the tournament too. The people that came to scrimmage against us, the past coaches that helped prepare us. I mean, everybody. It was. I just want to say thank you, and I hope you guys know that we appreciate it.
Mr. Sharp, in closing thoughts?
Well, I'd just like to say volleyball is back.
Yeah.
It's here again, and we will continue to do this. And every time we do this, we get kudos from all over Central America. In fact, the region, people even out of Canada, it looked like a world-class event. We held a world-class event. We made Belize proud. But none of that is not possible without the athletes, the coaches, the sponsors, Bowen and Bowen, Simon Kwan, are some of our biggest sponsors. Also the volunteers. I cannot, and my executive, we're all volunteers, unlike what people think. In preparing for these tournaments, we're at that Civic till after midnight every night trying to fix the place up. So, and all the volunteers who gave up their time for those 5 days working long hours, that is not possible. Thanks to them. And most of all, thanks to the Belizean people who came out with massive support. We once again filled the Civic. This is our second time filling that Civic. I think this time was a little bit more full than last time. So it was fuller than full. Right? We had people all up on top. Yeah. But thanks very much, and thanks so much to you guys as well, because you help us to get the message out. So thank you.
We're so pleasure. Proud of them. But we hope to see you more, and no pressure, but we do expect great things. Just saying. We expect. But with that, we're going to take our final break, and we'll be back for wrap up. So stay tuned.
Hola usuario de eCash, la aplicación eCash está disponible en español. Cambiar el idioma de tu aplicación de eCash de inglés a español es rápido y sencillo. Déjame mostrarte cómo se hace. Primero, abre tu aplicación eCash. Introduce tu PIN. Toca el icono More en la parte inferior de tu pantalla. Selecciona Security. Selecciona Language. Y luego selecciona Spanish. Vuelve a introducir tu PIN y ya está. Tu aplicación de eCash está ahora en español y puedes seguir disfrutando de tu cartera digital eCash. La aplicación eCash de Belize Bank te hace la vida más fácil.
I'm always on the go, and the country is my home. So when I want to get away from it all, I immerse myself with my favorite movies, all from the new Smart Stream app. It's easy to use this service. Purchase your movies from the app and use your mobile data, Smart Stream data packages, or smart broadband to stream and enjoy. Be like me and stream on the go with Smart Stream.
Are you looking for low-cost television advertising? Have we got a deal for you? Advertise on Channel 5's Daily Classifieds. Channel 5's Daily Classifieds is one of the most effective methods for introducing yourself and your business to the community. Use our Daily Classifieds to recruit employees, promote specials, promote your products or services, promote a business opportunity, increase traffic to your website, and advertise items you have for sale. Let us help you to save valuable time and money. Call us today at 280-0013 or visit us at our offices on Coney Drive to discuss how we can help your business grow affordably. Channel 5's Daily Classifieds. Advertise today.
Reduce your risk of viral illness like the flu or the coronavirus. Wash your hands frequently with soap and water or with an alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Cover your nose and mouth when coughing or sneezing with a tissue. Throw away, then wash hands immediately. Avoid close contact with anyone who has the cold or flu-like symptoms. If you become ill, please visit your doctor or nearest health center and share your travel history. A health and wellness message from your Ministry of Health.
And we are back. Just like that, our Tuesday is up. You know, usually we have Trendy Tuesdays, but Gavin is not here with us in studio, and Paul.
I don't know much about trends, so we'll keep
I don't believe you. I feel like you're way more updated than I am on most things.
We'll keep it with Gavin. So hopefully next week we have that Trending Tuesdays for you. I know it's becoming a part of your Tuesday outlook.
Yes.
You want to know what happened on the socials, what happened across Belize, across the region, and Gavin even showing some international things.
Yes, he does. He does.
So Gavin,
we look forward.
The people they want
we need your trends. We need your trends.
So, but April, great conversations this morning.
There were wonderful conversations. We started off with the Statistical Institute of Belize, just giving you an overview of where we are with the population and housing census and how you can be a part of it just by giving them the interview that they require to build those statistics up. They, relate to us that Belize City is a little bit difficult because most people work during the day. So this is just a reminder to you that if you have not seen SIB come to your door as yet, they are coming. They are just taking a little bit longer. They have 165,000 people already counted, and we have almost 400,000 in the population. So there's still a little ways to continue. So if they knock on your door, open it and give that interview.
Typical Belizeans, April, like when your friend tell you, I come, I soon reach, and they put on their shoes, but they are reach.
They just not reach on time. Yeah.
Right? You still have to look out for them. You know, close your door and cut off your light and go to bed and say, all right, well, that's it. I don't look out for them. Well, you see, that's part of the problem. So we also had in our second conversation, we had IT Vet Belize, and of course they are trend setting with their renewable energy and efficiency program. They're thinking ahead. They're training for the future. We're moving more and more into renewable energy, solar energy, wind energy, hydro. And so to have persons being trained
to create an entire curriculum, I think, is what is most impressive, because like I had mentioned, you have the ladies from SATEAM that are, they have a different training for themselves and their community, which, that's a great starter and so forth, but to have an entire 2-year program in a curriculum dedicated to not just trade and practice, but trade in theory, how to design and create, construct, and then sell yourselves for solar energy, I think is what is most impressive.
So there are spaces available for that, still limited, therefore 10 to 15.
10 to 15,
So therefore you want to head on down, because this program begins in August. If you only have a few more weeks to the end of August to ensure that you get a spot in this 2 years program full-time, that will basically set you up for a career in different fields as it relates to renewable energy. So that was
a wonderful conversation. And then of course our final conversation, if you're just tuning in, you saw the ladies from the volleyball, the U21 Volleyball Association, our champions, along with the president, Mr. Alan Sharp. We always talk about our Belizeans going out. Our Belizeans going out, they're doing well out there, the world is seeing them, but it was so wonderful to see them home and to see what they can bring to the table here. And I know we're also proud of them nationally, and we just can't wait to see what they're made of next.
Yeah, I am extremely proud of our girls. I was in attendance at the final game when the place was rammed.
But we had predicted that, remember? We said that once the Saturday and the Guatemala we play, everybody going out. And I am happy that everybody did that.
The proudest moment for me was the moment the Belize team moved from their locker room to the areas where they're seated, to hear the uproar from the crowd. This wasn't even them walking on to the court. So I felt a sense of national pride there. I cold seed just like what we catch this morning. And that solidified it for me. in terms of sports and our love for sports as a population and our willingness to support our Belizean athletes. And I just want to tell Belize to keep the same energy.
Yes, don't
keep that energy.
Yeah, not just for athletes, but for anybody that goes out and represents our country in a positive manner. We have to be able to uplift. But that is it for our show this morning. We thank you so much for coming in, for talking to us, for seeing our interviews, and for starting your morning right with us here on Open Your Eyes. But before we go, we have a birthday shout out to give. And we want to say a happy birthday to Kathleen Gilharry. There she is. Happy birthday, Kathleen. We hope you have a wonderful day today from all of us here at Channel 5. And
April.
Before, clear your throat. You and John, I feel like I need to see this duet. I need this duet to work. If that never give you KTV
remix. Don't forget to tune in tonight right after news.
Our second episode
KTV, the remix live shows season 4 at the Bliss Center for Performing Arts. You can still get tickets. I hear that tickets are still available, but you want to move fast because everybody's talking about being out tonight to watch the live shows. But of course, if you can't make it to Belize City, if you don't wait at PG and Floralia, no, they can't run that time, then you could also catch it on Channel 5 and also on Facebook
live stream, not YouTube, Facebook,
on the KTV The Remix Facebook page for all the action, all the fun. And we want to ask Belizeans, be nice. Be nice. Let that be your motto for tonight. Be nice.
Yes.
You know,
be nice. And you know what? Nice. Support. If you have a favorite contestant that you would like to see win, hit their number and text it to SMART. That all of that will be available on
all those numbers.
On the Facebook page. But make sure that you do that and you vote for your favorite winner, because the judges, yes, they're there to give their consejo, their advice, but they are not the ones to vote. You are the ones to vote. So drop your line, make sure you send in your number, send in your contestant, and you can maybe see them be the next winner of KTV The Remix. But we gotta go. So we want to say again, big thank you for waking up this morning, opening your eyes, and
starting your morning right.
Be sure to drop us a line if you want to send us an email or a request at oye@channel5belize.com, or you can hit us up on socials at Open Your Eyes BZ on Facebook and on Instagram at OYEBelize. Thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to keep your eyes, your minds,
and your hearts open.
Bye.
Peace.
Open Your Eyes was brought to you by the Belize Bank. Our country, your